Some horrors don't strike. In the dead of night, they lurk behind the curtains, just out of sight, watching, waiting, grinning. But what if, in the moment you finally decide to look, you realize someone is already looking back? She never felt truly safe in that apartment. The hum of traffic outside was meant to be comforting, a constant rhythm that lulled her to sleep. But deep down, she always felt something wasn't right. And then there was the attic. A single hatch in the bedroom closet. A dark space above her that she couldn't see into, but always felt was watching her. Her boyfriend assured her. It was sealed, inaccessible. But at night, she still blocked the closet door with furniture, as if her instincts screamed a warning she didn't yet understand. It happened when she was alone one night. Sitting on the couch, mindlessly watching TV, she heard it. The slow, deliberate creak of the bedroom door behind her. A sound so quiet, yet so deliberate, it sent ice through her veins. She didn't turn around, she didn't even breathe, she just ran. Bolted from the apartment without daring to look back. The darkness in that room felt thick, like it was waiting for her to turn around, like it wanted her to see it. Then came the night of the storm. Thunder shook the walls. Lightning cut jagged wounds through the sky. She and her boyfriend settled in for the night watching TV, trying to ignore the howling wind outside. The satellite signal flickered, then cut to static. She stood up, curiosity overcoming her fear, and yanked the curtains open to check the storm. And that's when she saw him. He didn't move. He didn't flinch. Just crouched there, staring at her through the glass, grinning. A wide, unblinking, impossible grin. Her breath caught in her throat. She wanted to run, to scream, but she was frozen. The only thing that broke the nightmare was her boyfriend yanking the curtain open wider. And suddenly, the man's expression changed. That sick, twisted smile vanished in an instant. In a flash of movement, he leapt from the balcony with an unnatural agility, disappearing into the darkness below. Her boyfriend didn't hesitate. He bolted down the stairs, chasing after the lurking figure. She grabbed the phone, hands trembling as she dialed 911. The police arrived within moments, red and blue lights slicing through the night. The man was caught, cuffed, surrounded. The neighbors gathered, whispering in horror. He wasn't just a peeper, he was a predator, a serial stalker, and tonight he had been waiting, watching, hoping she would open those curtains just one more time. She never slept the same after that. Even in a new home, with new locks and a Rottweiler by her side, something in her had changed. The darkness outside windows no longer felt empty. Every rustle of the wind, every creak of the floorboards sent her pulse racing. And every night before bed, she made sure the curtains stayed shut, because now she knew the truth. There may be someone just on the other side of that thin glass, looking back at you. Not all nightmares happen in the dead of night. Some arrive in broad daylight, just as the world bustles with life. A child walking home, a car rolling up too slow, a door cracking open just enough to see the shadow inside, and in that moment, in those few heartbeats, between safety and terror, the question lingers: am I about to disappear? Red was only 13 when it happened. That afternoon had been ordinary. Red and their siblings had gone for a walk, to check out a new store. The streets were filled with kids heading home from after-school programs, the air thick with laughter and idle chatter. The store was still under construction, so they stopped at a McDonald's next door before heading home. But as the sun began to sink and the streets emptied, A quiet unease settled over them. They were walking into the unknown, and something was waiting. They were nearly home when the world around them shifted. The road had gone silent. The last few kids had disappeared into their homes. That's when it happened. Suddenly, a white van with pitch-black windows screeched to the curb, its back doors completely painted over. Even before the tires stopped rolling, the door closest to them started to open. Instinct took over. They ran. No words, no hesitation, just raw terror. But as they sprinted away, the van didn't follow. Instead, a man stepped out. A dark-skinned figure in a gray hoodie and sunglasses, clutching a strange bag. He walked in the opposite direction, pretending as if he wasn't part of it. But the moment their guard dropped, the van reappeared from another street, scooping him up before vanishing. For days, Red tried to convince themselves that it was all a misunderstanding, a coincidence, just a harmless man, just a van stopping at the wrong place at the wrong time. But the doubt was shattered when Red saw him again. This time, in a different vehicle, a delivery van. He was making his way through the neighborhood, stopping at houses, knocking on doors. Was he a worker? Or was he scouting? Red's heart pounded as they watched from the window. He never looked up, never made eye contact, but something told them he knew they were there. A few months later, Red had almost convinced themselves it was over. But horror doesn't work that way. It lingers. It waits. This time, it happened when Red was alone. The house had been quiet, their family sick with the flu. Red had stepped outside to take out the trash, something they had done countless times. It was rush hour. Kids were heading home, but they were the only one outside. That's when the black car pulled up. It didn't move past the house. It parked too close. The driver was hidden in shadow, watching. Red told themselves it was nothing, just a car. But then came the click, the soft, deliberate sound of a door unlocking. Red turned. The door was cracked open, and a man, leaning low, was waiting. He whispered something, waving a hand slightly. It was subtle, almost friendly, but Red knew. Their heart slammed into their ribs. They didn't wait. They didn't think. They ran. Red sprinted back inside, slamming the door so hard the walls shook. They fumbled with the lock, twisting it into place. Then they ran to the window. But the car was already gone, vanished in the seconds it took to reach the glass. Their mind raced. How fast had they left? How quickly had they decided that Red wasn't worth it? And if they had hesitated even a second longer, would they still be here? Days passed, and the world moved on. But Red didn't. The neighborhood didn't. Rumors began to spread. Stories of a white van seen lingering near schools, of children disappearing into nothing. Red knew the truth. It wasn't just the van, it was the men inside. It was the people who waited. It was the quiet spaces in between, where someone could slip away without a sound. And now, they had only one message left to share. Stay alert, because next time, it might be you.